you for coming. I'd like to call our board meeting to order and ask Tim to please roll.
Mr. Bryson?
Here.
Dr. Blunt?
Here.
Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Dr. Dozier?
Here.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Elmore? Mr. Copeland? Mr. Freeman?
Here.
Mr. Gunn?
Here.
Mrs. Hartung?
Here.
Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Keels?
Here.
Ms. Lebanon?
Here.
Mr. Lee? Mr. McIntyre?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Dr. O'Kelly?
Here.
Ms. Richardson?
Happily here.
All right, thank you. Quorum is present. The press has been notified in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. And we now, before I start, I'd like to extend, on behalf of the board, extend our condolences to the Freeman family. Tracy lost his father last week, and we're very sorry about that. You have a copy of the minutes from the August 4th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections?
Move they be approved as submitted.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion's approved. This time we'll have our committee reports. The Executive Affairs Committee met. We did go into executive session to discuss a legal issue and contractual issue, and no action was taken. We do have a resolution that we would like to present to the board for consideration. You have that as Resolution 416 for naming of the Adele Kassab Recital Hall and Art Gallery. You all should be familiar with that. It was sent in advance, and also the press has a copy. Any comments, any questions, anything related to that?
I recommend it be approved.
There's a motion.
Second.
Second. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I just might remind the members of the board that the recital hall was named a number of years ago after Ms. Kassab. What we're doing is we're redoing the parts of the recital hall and the art gallery outside, and we're extending that naming to include the entire facility, both the art gallery as well as the recital hall.
All right. Any other comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's approved. This time I'd like to ask Dr. Mark Bunch to give the Academic Affairs and Accreditation Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. President. Thank you for this time. I have a resolution I'd like to bring to your attention, please, for your approval. Actually, two resolutions. The first being 0516 resolution approving a change to the mission of Francis Marion University to include offering of professional degrees at the doctorate level. You have in front of you the resolution. Would you like me to read that resolution, sir?
I don't think we need to unless there's someone that needs to ask a question or
Okay.
be more specific.
This comes as a recommendation and approval from our committee, sir.
Okay. You have motion 516 before you. Are there any questions? You have a motion. We need a second. No.
A motion from our committee, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. We need a second.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And then a second resolution, 0616, approving the Doctorate of Nursing Practice degree at Francis Marion University. There's a motion from our committee, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion's approved.
Very good. Now I do have a report from the different parts of our committee I'd like to share with you today. But first I want to say again thank you to everyone who was a part of making these resolutions happen today. It took a lot of work, a lot of effort. This is a great day for Francis Marion. I'm very excited about these two resolutions passing. So thank you very much to our board for passing those. And again, congratulations to all of those that were involved in making this happen today. And on to the report now. This is from Dr. Alyssa Waters, Associate Provost. For the fall 2016, we have a total of 3,876 students at our school. 729 of those students are freshmen at Francis Marion. The great news of this is 94% of the freshman class are from South Carolina and 48% are from the PD. We have a very busy recruiting cycle right now for the Office of Admissions. They participated in many events, 85 college application days, very impressive. Also 60 high school interview days have been attended as well. And at these meetings, they've talked about the requirements for admission and discussion for scholarship opportunities at Francis Marion. As of today, we've received over 1,800 applications for this fall, and they're receiving even more each day. There have been 6 open houses for the 2016-17 academic year. They've been very successful. And the registrar's office reports that 44 undergraduates and 9 graduate students have graduated in August. And we have commencement plans underway for December 17th. At this time, we have 258 undergraduates and 61 graduate students. So that's a great number. So very exciting. We got a report from Jennifer Conca, the assistant provost for advisement. She runs the Center for Academic Success and Advisement for our school. It is an intense support program for our first-year students. It includes one-to-one advising for our students and also undergraduate mentoring for these students, which is very important. They have individualized advising sessions for our students. They talk with them about course selections and schedules, career options, goal setting, and also time management for these students. They're working very diligently to increase awareness of their program on campus amongst the students and increase their presence on our campus. And then Dr. King brought many reports from the different departments for our school, but I do want to highlight the School of Health Sciences. They received from the Center a Center of Excellence designation, which means they have 5 years of excellence, and that's how you receive the award. So congratulations to the School of Health Sciences. And also out of that department, the Healthcare Administration degree is going very well. There's currently 140 students for Healthcare Administration. Our first graduate is in December from that degree, so we're very excited about that. And they have a new director coming on January 9th of 2017. And then finally, Mr. Chairman, Francis Marion has joined Coastal Carolina to work with the Bell Baruch Foundation in Georgetown. It's an area of almost 17,000 acres just north of Georgetown. There are currently 2 other universities from South Carolina down there, but we've joined with Coastal Carolina. We will be the 3rd institute, and we will concentrate on cultural and social issues that surround the property. This is a great opportunity for our faculty, Mr. Chairman, and our students for research, archaeology, and to study South Carolina history. This is an exciting event as well. So congratulations to all these departments, and congratulations again for these resolutions being passed tonight. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Good. Trustee Coleman for the Development and Alumni Report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We had a very good meeting. Darrell Bridges and Julian Young gave reports, and I'll be brief. The FMU Education Foundation received recent scholarship support from McLeod Health and PD Electric Cooperative, and the Duke Energy Foundation provided grants to support the PAC Children's Series and the Wyndham Environmental Center operated by Francis Marion. The outreach programs continue to go well. The Local Government Leadership Institute has begun with very positive sessions and feedback. The FMU Kelly Center for Enterprise and Innovation is now operating the North Dargan Innovation Center in partnership with the City of Florence, providing services and support for the business incubator and other clients. The Office of Alumni Affairs has coordinated several events designed to increase alumni engagement, as well as to encourage student interest in becoming involved after graduation. The Alumni Awards program will be held after our next board meeting in March. We hope everybody can attend. And that concludes my report.
Good. Any questions? Trustee Coleman? Mr. Jones for our Financial Affairs and Facilities Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. The Financial Affairs and Facilities Committee met this afternoon We were joined by Jay Kispert, Vice President for Business Affairs. Everyone should have a copy of the budget summary in their materials. We'll look at the budget summary first. On the revenue side, all state appropriations have been received. In addition to our appropriated base increase of $925,000, we received an additional $530,270 in recurring appropriations to offset increases related to our state pay increase, as well as employer contribution costs for increases in health, dental, and retirement contributions. Summer 2 revenues finalized at $161,000 above budget expectations. The excess was attributable to a strong enrollment of undergraduates and nursing graduate program courses. Fall revenues are for the most part finalized, with fall revenues coming in at 98.5% of our target budget expectations. Undergraduate revenues were $50,000 above budget expectations. Expenses, as of the report date, our general funds were 30% expended, which is in line with the expected percentage expenditure as of the reporting date. Our total employee headcount sits at 495 and FTEs are at 442.26. 4-year change is 8 on headcount and 8.1 on FTEs. There was no change in our financial aid estimate since August. Current year aid totals are $52,546,820 for the fiscal year. Total financial aid received last year was noted at $52,195,000, so those numbers very close to each other. Our financial aid estimates will likely uptick in February after spring enrollment has ended. That's it on the budget report. We've got our independent auditor's report. Everybody should have a copy of that there in front of your nameplate there in the gray binder. Our audit was performed by Klein, Brandt, and Konkenauer. The firm has been instrumental in assisting FMU to meet the deadlines set by the South Carolina Comptroller General's Office. The auditor's report, we received an unqualified opinion. The auditor had no reservations concerning the financial statements and issued a clean opinion, meaning that the financial statements fairly represent the financial position of Francis Marion University. This is the best opinion that an auditor can issue. There were no findings relating to the financial statements, and the audit firm proposed no adjustments. The auditor reported no instances of noncompliance with accounting standards in the audit. Federal awards are audited under different rules and are given a separate opinion by the auditor, as is required under the current guidelines. There were no deficiencies reported. You also have in front of you Resolution 07-16 for the establishment of the university facility fee. That would be a fee that would begin in the spring of this year at $25 per semester, escalating $25 per semester until it reaches a maximum fee of $100 thereafter, which I believe would be in the fall of 2018. Those funds would be escrowed. Those monies would be used for building maintenance, infrastructure, sewer, water, parking, safety, and other security measures. That's the reason for the implementation of this resolution. We voted on that, Mr. Chairman. We would like to present that to the full board for passage.
Okay. There is a motion for the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Anybody have any questions? Not all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion's approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to entertain them. If not, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we have Student Affairs and Athletics, Trustee Bryson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Student Affairs and Athletics Committee met this afternoon. We had 100% participation from our committee members. Teresa Ramey, Vice President of Student Affairs, Murray Hartzler, our Director of Athletics, and Frederica Presley, our Student Government Association President, provided excellent reports to the committee. I'd like to highlight a few of the items that were mentioned. The fall semester programs all went very well this past semester. On Monday, there'll be a recognition ceremony for the 32 students who completed Leadership FMU. In athletics, we had 87 student athletes who were honored by being on the Presidential Honor Roll for the Peach Belt Conference for the 2015-16 school year. We also had 3 teams that earned national all-academic awards: women's tennis, volleyball, and golf team. We did learn that 11th year women's volleyball head coach Paul McDonald is going to step down at the end of this season to take another position at Francis Marion. The search is underway for a new volleyball coach. That person will have big shoes to fill, as Coach McDonald was the winningest coach in program history with 179 victories. The team is having a good season, and they're on the bubble for an NCAA playoff berth. So we wish them the best as Coach McDonald winds down his tenure there. The Student Government Association this past fall established a new standing committee to serve commuter students, which is a large part of our student population. They also have planned to establish 2 new student advisory committees in the spring that would interface with matters related to the bookstore and the dining facilities. We also heard from Frederica that they've created a new student discount book featuring many local businesses that will provide discounts to our students. And plans are underway for the big late night breakfast that will be held during exam week. And I understand several guest alumni will be serving breakfast to our students during that time. 2 upcoming events of note. Plans are in full swing for our Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, which will be held on January the 12th. And then Homecoming 2017 is just around the corner, scheduled for February 11th. There'll be a Patriot bonfire Friday night and a homecoming parade as well that weekend. So it was a good meeting, and that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Good, thank you. Any questions? If not, we'll turn it over to Dr. Carter for the President's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, as always, it's a delight to see all of our board members here, smiling faces. Birds are singing when you come on campus. I hope they're still singing when you leave. Let me begin by just mentioning the audit that Stephen mentioned a little earlier. You know, I guess for a decade and a half we've had pristine audits every year, and credit for that, much of that credit goes to Jay and goes to Thomas and Gus and Kathy and everybody down in finance and accounting. They do a wonderful job. Those things just don't happen. It takes a lot of people working very, very hard. So I want Jay to know how deeply appreciative we are for all the hard work on the part of his people every year, making sure that the books are absolutely spotless.
Thank you, sir.
Let me talk about Paul McDonald just for a second. This is an interesting story, and it's one that I wouldn't want you guys to leave without hearing the other side of it. Paul came here a few years ago to coach volleyball for us. We've always had a strong volleyball team. Paul comes here, teaches it, continues to build on the success of the university. But you see, when Paul was an undergraduate, he took his degree in supply chain management. And Paul always wanted to get back into management and procurement. So this past year, Paul came to us. He knew that we were going to have an opening in procurement. And he said, is there any way I could compete for that position? And the answer is, sure there is, okay? He's essentially proven that by all the things that he's done so successfully at this university. I mention that because we always tell people how proud we are of our student athletes. Well, I want to tell you how proud we are sometimes of our coach scholars as well, particularly those coaches that essentially have the management skills to go other places and do other things. Paul McDonald really represents the very best of this institution, and I'm very pleased that he's going to continue to work for us for the remainder of his career. He's a great guy. Speech therapy. You all know we got that passed. We got it passed by the CHE. Nothing's easy with the CHE, bless their souls, okay? But we got it passed. So now the effort is to take our new speech therapy director, our speech pathology director, Frida Wilson, and Dr. Kennedy will be working with Dr. Wilson over the next year getting in the accreditation materials and the like, so we can actually open that program in the fall of 2018. We're very excited about that. We're very excited about those first 20 students we'll bring in. But I also want to give you notice, now that we've cleared that out of the planning cycle, about this time next year, you're going to hear from us about the next therapy, which will be occupational therapy. So about a year from now, we'll bring you some fairly comprehensive plans about how we want to go forward building the next therapy at this university, occupational therapy, which I think will be an enormous contribution to our curriculum as well. And just so you don't forget, 2 years after that, we'll be back with physical therapy, which will pretty much work out the three therapies that we've talked about having. And by the way, three programs which medical providers all over this region tell us are absolutely essential because of the shortage of therapists in each of those areas. Our budget's sailing along. Let me just briefly mention to you that we'll make 3 requests of the legislature this year on our budget. We'll ask for $610,000 recurring for funding to enhance some of our faculty positions, particularly in areas where there are professional accreditation reviews, such as business, such as education, such as health sciences and the like. We will ask $350,000 recurring to strengthen our STEM positions on campus, particularly those areas in which we'll collaborate, I think, more extensively with school districts, providing more teachers going out in those school districts, offering courses in chemistry, physics, math, as certified teachers in those areas, not just as history teachers that have been given a science textbook and asked to teach the course, but those that have actually been trained and educated in those areas. You know, Tracy, I'd ask you to speak on this, but you would go on 2 hours on this.
Yeah.
I've already heard from you, but it'll be wonderful for us to go out there if we're successful with the General Assembly and get funding in those areas. And then our third request next year will be for our Honor Center, that $3.1 million Honor Center. Last year we got $700,000 in funding. We still need $2.4 million more, so we'll continue to chip away at the funding request this year. Probably take us this year and the next year, but then we should be able to put up that, it's roughly about a 30,000 square foot honors building that'll be located over near the Smith Student Center. Let me very briefly mention our honorary degree recipients for fall. Honorary degree speaker will be Senator Shaheen, who I think will do a terrific job, and will also give an honorary degree to councilperson Teresa Irvin on Florence County Council. Teresa's done a marvelous job serving this community over the past few years. I take incredible joy in the fact she also happens to be a career nurse. So we get to recognize her achievements in 2 areas by giving her that degree, her public service and also the lifetime of career effort that she's devoted to the nursing sciences. Let me, just for a second, Hobcall Barony. Can't let this one get by. How many of you have not been to Hobcall Barony around the table? How many of you have not been there?
Where is it? I'm trying to remember.
You go back to worrying about that history teacher, okay? You know, Ms. Chairman, what we might want to do at our retreat next summer, we may actually want to do our retreat down at Hobcall Barony. It's not very far from here. It would give you, all the board members, an opportunity to see one of the areas that'll be our next research site. We're very excited with the partnership with the Bell Baruch Institute and with the partnership with Coastal Carolina University. Caroline and Clemson have been working down there at the Baruch Institute for a long time in marine sciences and forestry. Coastal Carolina and Francis Marion will take programs down there in the humanities and social sciences and behavioral sciences. So those will be nice partnerships for us, and it'll provide just an extraordinary research area for our students. They're in for the treat of their life when they start working at Hub called Barony. So anyway, that process is underway now, but we should be fully involved with that by next fall in terms of sending students and faculty down there. And I wanted just, Lynn Hanson, who's in our English department, Lynn's been a strong proponent of doing this. She's doing a sabbatical down there this semester, so I would want to recognize all of her efforts in that regard too. We're very, very proud of what she's done and what she's accomplished down there. And I think with those comments, Mr. Chairman, those of you going to the play tonight at the Florence Little Theater, To Kill a Mockingbird, as soon as we adjourn, you may want to start heading in that direction to catch the curtain call. But with that, Mr. Chairman, that ends my report.
Good report. Still a lot of good things happening, and we appreciate everything Dr. Carter does. The next item we have is unfinished business. I'm not aware of any. Any new business? Is there any need for an executive session? If not, I think that ends the business we have for today. Thank you all for being here. Hope you have a great evening out. And if there are no objections, we'll stand adjourned.
Good seeing you.